Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramadalam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityo ma mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Lord Krishna, the Divine Supreme, who is the personification of bliss, who came to establish religion. Let us pray to him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Let us for a few moments think of the Divine Supreme dwelling in our heart and pray to him for the welfare of the whole humanity. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace be unto all. We have been studying Bhagavad Gita. The first chapter begins with the despondent state of Arjuna and how it provoked him towards spiritual path. He was most fortunate. He had Lord Krishna himself as his spiritual master, and then Lord Krishna gives him the philosophy of the Atman, the indwelling Chaitanya consciousness. He is immortal. The Atman is never destroyed. What is destroyed is the container, not the contained. So, in course of time, what is not real gets destroyed. So what is there to grieve about? So people are born and they die in course of time. It's a natural law. No one on this earth can be immortal in that sense, because the body is perishable. But then there is imperishable entity inside the perishable container, and that imperishable entity is Atman, which is the part and parcel of the Paramatman. So our task should be to realize our inner nature, to realize exactly who am I, who is that Atman. So in order to experience that state, God has provided us very good instruments. The most important instrument by which we can experience the divine nature of the Atman is mind. So mind plays extremely important role in our life. So it comes to the point how we should really deal with the mind. So from the beginning itself, we must train the mind in such a way that it will be very useful for us to explore the spiritual path. On account of our contact with the world and worldly surroundings and worldly situations, the mind naturally becomes tainted. It becomes impure. But we must realize that the mind should be purified in order to go through spiritual path. It's a continuous process. It's not that one day I have cleaned the mind, it's okay. It's not like that. Again it will be tainted. So, cleaning process is continuous. In order to do that, God has given another faculty, that is buddhi. Buddhi is meant for using it in a proper way, to be alert, to be watchful, and to take decisive steps when the mind behaves in a different way. All these things possible only when we have strong aspiration to realize the divine that is within us. So strong aspiration is most important, and that people try to have. It depends upon various factors. Some people don't feel the need of that aspiration at all, because first of all they are unaware of that aspiration. They think the aspiration should be, I am in this world, let me enjoy this world. I am born to enjoy. So in the beginning itself they think in a wrong way. The wrong way of thinking leads the person to wrong actions, thereby he is in a mess. It's a terrible state, really a terrible state. So it is like drowning oneself in the water. So Lord Krishna advises us to maintain equanimous state in all situations. Tranquil state is important for continuing concentration and meditation, through which we will be able to really experience our divine nature, by which we will enjoy immeasurable, indescribable, everlasting peace and joy. So there is a Sanskrit word for that wonderful term joy. It is Ananda. Ananda, Paramananda. There are two types of Ananda mainly. One is Vishayananda, another is Paramananda. Vishayananda means the joy that you get through your contact with the sensual objects, objects of the senses. By eating we get joy, by sleeping we get joy, by so many activities we engage ourselves, we get some kind of joy. That is Vishayananda. That is illusory. That joy is really cannot be called as joy, because that joy immediately gives you some kind of displeasure. So it is not constant. You will be tossed by pain and pleasure. That is the experience with all these worldly activities and worldly situations. But the Paramananda, the Ananda that you get through spiritual practices, is uplifting. Uplifting. And it makes you more and more raised up. It makes you more and more peaceful. The real peace is described as undisturbed mind. When a person has entered into that state of not disturbance, that is real happiness. Real happiness means peace. Peace is real happiness. If you see a saint, just by seeing the face you feel joy, because the face is calm, serene, tranquil, full of peace. That peace itself exemplifies happiness. So, Lord Krishna explains Arjuna the nature of Atman and the nature of the body, the nature of the world. All these things are described. Then Arjuna became really curious to know what are the states of the person of tranquil mind. How does he behave? How does he act? How does he move in the world? That is, he is asking what are the characteristics of a person of steady wisdom. This is called Sthita Prajna. People may wonder, is it ever possible to have that state? The answer is yes. It is possible only when you are really sincere and honest in your spiritual sadhana. Then it is possible to cultivate samabhava. The whole gist of the second chapter is cultivate samabhava, equanimous state. So, Sthita Pragyasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava siddhi kim prabhaseta kimasida vraje. So, these verses are very important, the quintessence, I should say, of the second chapter. So it is very necessary for us to understand the significance of these characteristics of a person of steady wisdom. A saint who has well established in that state of equanimity was laying under a bridge one night. He was just laying there. The thief who passed that way saw this naked man, and what was his observation? Because he was a thief, his mind is colored, so he observed in his own way. What did he observe? He thought, oh, this person must have been caught while stealing and given a good beating. So, like that, he began to observe. After some time, a drunkard came that way. He saw the same person lying there, and he remarked. Drunkard remarked in his own account his nature of the intensity of drinking. And he said, so you also drank without permit? You should know at least when to stop this sipping. Another fellow, who habitually stayed away at nights from his house, seeing this sadhu lying there, he observed in a different way. Wonderful, you must have tried your tricks with some women who have given you a nice punishment. Because he was lying there naked, See how different people passing different remarks, observing the same person. Now, a sannyasin came there, a monk. Seeing this naked sadhu, he observed, according to his nature of purity. He said, oh, a Mahatma is lying here. Blessed is the world for producing such great souls. So, if you observe all these remarks expressed by these different types of people, it only shows each according to one's own mental attitude has made comments. There is thus no sign or symptom in a Sthita Prajna when he is in the supreme silence. When a Sthita Prajna talk, sit and walk, it's obvious that a Sthita Prajna, after coming down to the mental level, will have to talk with his mouth, breathe through his nose and work with his karmendriyas. He does not develop any new faculty of talking, etc. He has to act with senses in the same way as before. But the real change is in his outlook. After realizing that the one infinite principle expressed and experienced by him in Samadhi is everywhere, he is well established in that state. The result is he has no more attachment, no hatred, no fear. Vita raga bhaya krodha. He is free from all these three. He has instead spontaneous love for all. Love gushes forth through his personality. He becomes the embodiment, personification of love, prem. There is a great incident, probably you might have heard, Sant Eknath, exemplary saint. His devotion was so great, the Divine Lord could manifest himself in his home and do all types of play. Because he was preaching the path of devotion, there will be always some people who criticize. So these critics, they are so intolerant. They have no capacity to judge a person, to understand, because their mind is dull and foolish and tainted by all sorts of impurities. So they are expressing their hatred. They did not like this saintly man's preachings. So what they did, they hired a person to tease him. And the man did what the people told him. How did he tease? This Eknath would go to take bath every day in the river. Every day he would go. That was olden tradition. Nowadays you have got taps everywhere. Olden days rivers only. You have to go to river bank, take bath and come. And so as usual, Eknath ji went in the morning for taking bath and performing his ablutions, prayers. So while after taking his bath he was coming back, this hired person was hiding. As soon as he saw the saint coming out of the river, he has walked a few steps. This hired person just spit upon him. If anybody were in that state, probably he would have slapped him, beat him. But Eknath ji was calm, serene, tranquil, like as we said about Sthita Prajna. All these characteristics were fully exemplified in his personality. He did not say anything. Quietly as he was before, went to the river, took bath again, came back, again this fellow spit upon him. He never murmured. Simply went back to the river, again took bath. It continued. This hired man continued to spit upon me. Every time he comes from taking bath, after taking bath, this man would spit upon me. But quietly and calmly, every time he would go and take bath. Finally the hired man became exhausted. He became terribly ashamed. What? I am spitting on this person so many times. Still he is not showing any anger, no trace of anger, no trace of hatred, nothing. As if nothing has happened, he is moving quietly and coming back. So when he, at the last, when the saint came back after taking bath, now a change has come over this hired man. He just lay flat on the feet of the saint and caught hold of his feet. Master, please forgive me. Please forgive me. What? What have you done to forgive? You have done nothing. See, the Eknathji could not see any fault in that person. And then he said, no, I am spitting upon you every time. Is it not a bad action? You know what Eknathji said? No, you have done such a very meritorious action. He praised him. Why? How is it meritorious? Eknathji said, look, you gave me opportunity to take bath in the river 108 times. You are responsible for that. Is it not a great act? And that fellow was totally transformed. And Eknathji is telling sincerely. There is no hypocritical way of telling at all. Straightforward. 108 times you have given me the opportunity to think of God, taking bath and coming. So, you are instrument. That is the state of Sthita Prajna. No fear, no anger. That's the expression of pure love. So when we realize that we are the one unified consciousness, Satchidananda, with whom can we quarrel? With whom can we fight? Whom can we be attracted to? And whom can we be repulsed from? What are we to be attached to? What are we to be afraid of? What are we to be repulsed from? Everything is looked upon as a part and parcel of our very being, the true being. Can the right hand quarrel with the left hand? This may be possible, but even that much of rift is not there in the Vedantic realization. Someone asked whether it would not be rank selfishness to aspire for this state of ananda, bliss, when our family is suffering and when the rest of the world is also suffering. It's a very valid question. Let us analyze the nature of selfishness. Say you are working in an office and there is a talk of promotion. You immediately go to your superiors and represent yourself that you are the fittest person, that you are working overtime, that you are having a big family, so on and so forth. So you are instigating them to promote you. This is a positive projection of selfishness. There is a negative one also. You represent that the other man who is strongly tipped for the promotion does not deserve, that he has joined the union, that he is very irregular, that he is committing a lot of blunders, etc. That is, he is trying to find faults with that person whom the authorities have chosen for promotion. In short, what you are trying to get for your own happiness, you do not want others to get. Selfishness stems from the body and mind abhimana. There is so much attached to body and mind. It provokes you to act that way. You want the body to have comforts and the mind to have joy. Selfishness rises because of a feeling of duality, that I am separate and the rest of the world is separate from me. To attain the supreme bliss of self-realization, the very force of selfishness which binds us, rivets us to the body and mind abhimana, has to be transcended and outlived. Truly speaking, Brahmajnana, the knowledge of Brahman, is the only thing that can root out selfishness completely. Can there be selfishness when we look upon others as our very being? The outstanding feature of Brahmajnana is transcendental love. Love is the very nature of it. What can express the love that is born in us when we realize the one unified consciousness, the one infinite reality, transcending, permeating and pervading in and through everything? That Brahmajnana, which is attained only after killing selfishness, cannot be called selfishness. The person who attains that state of supreme bliss, he loves everyone, he becomes lovable. He becomes the object of love to everyone. Take the life of saints. How many people would flock to hear the teachings, to be in the company of the saints? So, it is a very negation of selfishness. Only we mistake it for selfishness. There is no petty love here. On the contrary, there is one unified feeling, higher than love, transcendental and supreme. That transcendental love we should aspire for. That love is everlasting. It is not like sensual love. What will be the spirit of or propelling force behind the thoughts, words and actions of a Citadihi, man of steady intellect? If after coming to the conscious level from the superconscious state, he continues to have the same old raga, dvesha and bhava, what is the use of his samadhi, sthita prajnata? That kind of question may arise. If he is going to do the same sort of actions with raga, dvesha, like a person who is engaged in activities as any ordinary man, then there is no use of such jnana. If he acts, what will be the force propelling him? When he sits quietly without acting, what will be the thoughts occupying his mind? When you have no work, our mind will think either of the past actions, dead and gone, or do sankalpa of the projected plans for the future, yet to be born. Will a Citadihi also keep thinking of his past actions and dreaming about the future? That was implied in the question of Arjuna. Sri Krishna says, no, he will not. A spiritual person has so many compartments, so to say, within himself. He does his work in each field perfectly, but once that is over, never thinks of it again during other moments. Has separate compartments for office, home and society, and keeps one for spiritual sadhana. He never mixes them up and does not make them overlap. Many people working in government offices, what do? After returning from home, they talk nothing but office matters. Oh, my officer told me this, my officer told me that, I did this, I did that, he did not like it, I spoke to him like this, he was not satisfied, etc. You go to any office and everywhere you hear nothing but this, right from the lowest clerk to the highest official. They have imprisoned themselves in a world of their creation. They think that the government is sitting on their heads. Similarly, other people in banks and in business talk only of their business. The hotelier, when he comes back home or talks among his friends, complains that the price of foodstuff has gone up, and the number of customers coming to his hotel is getting reduced because of high taxation, etc. So they talk in this way according to their state of mind. If a person who has attained samadhi, he found that all external objects could not give him happiness. He wanted to go to the transcendental joy by getting rid of raga, dvesh, likes and dislikes. He is still going to talk of the same old thing, etc. Then is there any use of samadhi? The Sitadihi, once he leaves the office and comes home, does not keep on thinking of the office. In the office he does not think of his home and children and worry about them. Thus he is able to work efficiently. He concentrates on the duty to be performed. There it ends. During his leisure time, when he has no work, his mind is wholly given to the thoughts of the Supreme Reality, and he merges himself in the consciousness of the all-pervading Parabrahman. His mind is always calm. He knows that the world is a dynamic expression of the infinite reality. Dynamism means the capacity to express or reveal, just as the ocean's dynamism is to express itself in the form of waves and bubbles. So also the infinite Brahman has the capacity to express itself as this illimitable universe. He realizes that until yesterday he thought this emanation, that is the visible universe, was the sole reality, but now he understands that reality from which this universe has emanated. Just as the illumining capacity and the heating capacity of fire are not different from the fire itself, so also this visible universe is not separate from the infinite Brahman. That's why the Upanishad also says, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman indeed. It is the nature of the very Brahman itself. Now everybody uses I pronoun. The very I is an expression of the infinite. I am not a separate, disconnected, disunited entity. I am expression of the infinite, all-pervading Brahman. Rooted in this consciousness, whatever it does turns out to be for the welfare of the world as well as for his own liberation. Atmano mokshartham Jagadhitayacha. He does not occupy himself in idle talk. He talks only what he has known from deep within. His actions are consistent with his realization. With utmost universal love and sympathy, he points out to others the way to attain the reality. Even a mother's love for her children is inferior to the love a Brahmajnani has for all beings. If you study with your attention focused on the life of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sharda Devi, you find how their love had no limits. The very first visit itself could make people feel that expression of love. That is the characteristic of a Sthita Prajna. See, there is a famous incident in Swami Vivekananda's life that Swami Vivekananda used to come before he became drastic. He used to come from his home to meet Sri Ramakrishna. His home was a little far away from Calcutta. He has to come to meet Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar temple. Whenever Narendranath would come, Sri Ramakrishna was overwhelmed with joy, full of expression of love. So much so, he would get up himself and see if there is any foodstuff inside, some sweets or something. He would take and put it into his mouth with so much affection. He would be extremely happy. Vivekananda used to come, sit in front of him, hear his teachings, and then he would go back. Like that he was doing for a sufficient time. One time, Sri Ramakrishna wanted to test him. As usual, Narendranath, Vivekananda's original name is Narendranath. He came to see Sri Ramakrishna. He entered the room. Sri Ramakrishna never looked at him. There were many people there, already gathered, and Sri Ramakrishna began to talk about spiritual ideas only. He would not talk any worldly things. About how one should practice spiritual, how one should repeat mantra, etc. Narendranath came there, sat through the whole session. When everything is over, he went back. Sri Ramakrishna never turned his look in that direction. But Narendranath came again and again. He continued coming. He never stopped coming to see Sri Ramakrishna. As usual, he was coming, sitting, hearing his talks, would go. And finally, Sri Ramakrishna himself has to yield. As usual, Narendranath came. As soon as he came, Sri Ramakrishna just hugged him vehemently and told him with tears in his eyes, Narendranath, I am really amazed. I ignored you. So many times you have come. I never looked at you. How is it? In spite of my negligence towards you, in spite of not treating you properly, in spite of not showing any hospitality, how is it that you could come? Narendranath replied. His reply was very significant. Master, I come to you because I love you. Finished. Sri Ramakrishna was supremely satisfied. That is Vivekananda. Personification of love. It is because of that love for humanity he came to America. Penniless, passing through hurdles, criticisms, he came to America, taught the people the divine nature of the individual, how each one is potentially divine. So, in a way, Swami Vivekananda, the real spiritual way of thinking, doing, Swami Vivekananda gave to the people in America. He gave a kind of awakening, but still people are slow to be awakened. Anyway, Swami did his duty. It is for the people to use it or not. If they don't use it, they are only misfortune. That's all. So, that's the way how a person of Sthitadihi, study intellect, wisdom, how he acts. There is no trace of selfishness. Absolutely no selfishness. In fact, once Swami Vivekananda was teaching his disciples, and after the class is over, Swamiji immediately rushed to his room, and the brother disciples, brother monks who were the novices who were sitting there for the class, they were all surprised how Swamiji went briskly to his room. What happened? So they went into Swamiji's room to see. Swamiji was shedding tears. And they asked, Swamiji, what is the matter? Just now you are giving classes to us, but now you are weeping. Why? Then he said, look, some part of the world, there is a great calamity. Lot of people are dying because of fire, etc., etc. He could visualize that. Seeing that, he felt very bad. So many people are suffering. So that is how his love is extended to the whole universe. So Sthitati is like that. Everything is universal. In fact, Swamiji himself said, you see, don't tie me to a particular boundary. Now I belong to the whole universe. The Swamiji's words, Swami Vivekananda said, I belong to the whole universe. The whole universe is mine. So that feeling of identification, the whole world, so that is the expression of the divine love. So, in short, we become mediums for the divine expression. In fact, there is a great incident, probably you all know that. Henry Ford was such a great man. It is said that he used to have samadhi in his car. The Ford Foundation Trust has given by way of charity millions and millions of dollars and helped so many countries. The divine will be expressed through a Sthitadihi in a way consistent with the requirement of his surroundings. Even amongst Brahmagyanis, different people have different dispositions and express themselves in different ways depending on the residue of their karma that is to be exhausted. Some may become sannyasins. Some work like Mahatma Gandhi and Vinoba Bhave for the uplift and benefit of the mankind. Some may try to convey to others around them an idea of what that reality is and show them the way to realize it. And there are some keep quiet as maunis, silently meditating in a forest retreat or in a cave. Some people mistakenly think that the jnana the maunis have is ignorant people may think, but that is not the case. Their jnana is not wasted because as they sit and meditate, maybe in some remote place, far removed from the bustle of the world, the good thought forces generated by their meditation work more wonder than if they had expressed their jnana and ananda outwardly. It is only the totality of the thought force emanating from such souls that supports and sustains anyone trying to spread the knowledge of Brahman in this world. So, these great souls unassumingly do good to the world in an imperceptible way. One may now ask whether Sitadehi will not be affected by pain or sorrow as he is in the relative mental level. No doubt, if there is an intense physical pain, he will certainly experience it. Though outwardly he may be crying in agony, yet inwardly he laughs. And that is true. We have seen in the life of Swami Chidananda, he had a tumor at the back spinal cord. It was so terrible, causing tremendous pain. And he was undergoing suffering calmly, quietly, without complaining, without talking about it. And the doctor came, examined it, and he said it should be operated, that tumor should be taken out. In the appointed day, the doctor came, told the Swamiji, Swamiji, I have come to remove the tumor. Those in anesthesia were not there. I don't know how they managed. But Swamiji, do you know what he did? In 2 minutes, he disconnected himself with body consciousness. He permitted the doctor to do what he wants to do. That he is in samadhi state. And this man cut the tumor, etc. After a week or so, he came to test him. So in order to test him, he touched the part where he did surgery. Then Swamiji began to shout. Then the doctor was puzzled. What? That day, I cut your tumor, you did not cry, you did not do anything. How is it today you are crying, shouting? Then he said, look, at that time, you told me beforehand that I am doing surgery. So I was prepared for that. I disconnected myself from body, mind, consciousness. So, but now this time you suddenly came and touched me without telling me. That is the nature of the body. Same thing we see in another incident, Shivanandaji, another dead disciple Ramakrishna. He was talking to brahmacharis. Every day the brahmacharis, monastic girls would go to his room, and that is the usual practice. Even today they do in Lemont. Swamiji would be talking about spiritual ideas, about Sri Ramakrishna, about Holy Mother. They talk only about them only. Lot of instructions, inspiring teachings. Then afterwards, about 10 o'clock or 10:30, all they went back to their rooms to sleep. Just at that time, Swamiji got attack of asthma. Shivanandaji could not breathe. He tried his best. Still it was very struggle for him. Then he thought, well, probably this body may not live. So So let me think of the divine. So he sat and immediately disconnected himself with body mind. Whole night was spent without any problem, without any breathing complaints. Next day morning was quite normal. Then the brahmacharis, all other monks came and inquired, Swami, did you have good sleep? Oh, sleep is what happened. So those people, they knew the value of the spiritual bliss, and they knew how well to disconnect the body-mind consciousness and dwell in the Paramatman, the inward willing spirit. That's how the man of steady wisdom, steady intellect, they behave. Let us continue the same topic in the next class. The time being we should stop here. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Hari Om Tat Sat. May God protect us, may He nourish us, may we not be fruitful and enlightened, may we not hate each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that baths for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean, he is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere, may all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery, may the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others freed, may good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.